And there's that. And all of our things are in place.
Hello.
No, I was going to say hello like that. Hello.
Hello.
Just got my hair toned today, you guys. Less red. Loving it. Okay.
Mine's looking crazy right now because it's been up. Hello, Tanya. My daughter's going to fix it for me.
Oh, you remind me of TLC in the 90s. I love it. I'm trying to get a little
Hi,
bit of
Tanya, Natasha.
Hello.
Oh, Tanya, we're thankful that you have found us too.
Oh, so thankful.
So thankful,
You
yes.
know, it's really cute that sometimes people tell me that they're really thankful for me, but I'm like, you guys know that I would not exist without you guys. So you, by being here, afford us the opportunity to be here for you. It's like a circle. It's like a beautiful circle of how we complement each other. I love it. So tonight is blessings and cleansings for 2023. And I'm always doing blessings, maybe cleansings all the time, almost unknowingly. I don't know if you can say that, but almost unknowingly, where I'm always thinking about stuff. And we're going to go over how to do it, what it's for, things that impede our cleansing and even blessing, because giving blessings is like this very broad spectrum thing. So you're going to figure out that no matter what you do, as long as it's from a place of love, you're doing a blessing. And it's awesome. It's like such a great realization. So I'm all set up with some examples to show you guys. We have some show and tell because I feel like show and tell really makes it stick. What do you think?
It does.
Show and tell makes it stick.
I'm a big visual person.
Yes.
Are you guys visual
Yes.
people? Because I'm very visual. I need that.
We should tell you guys that we are having martinis. Not in a martini glass because we're very clumsy. So those glasses are just a recipe for disaster. But it's a Thursday. It's been a tough week. And we are having martinis.
Cheers to that.
Yay.
Hope you have something nice in front of you that you're enjoying, whatever
it is. Tea, water, whatever you drink.
For me, it's me, her, and vodka.
Me, her, and vodka. We actually thought that'd be
me, you, and vodka.
Me, you, and vodka. We thought that would be a really funny name for a book we could write.
Me, you, and vodka.
Me, you, and vodka. Sounds great, right? I feel like we're already winning with that title. It's lovely.
Oh, Spirit Fest in Orlando.
Oh, wow.
We did that.
We've done it.
We've done Orlando.
Spirit Fest in not Orlando, Lakeland.
It was Lakeland, but that's close
Port
to Orlando,
Charlotte,
right?
You got like another hour to drive.
But yeah, we were so close. We were right up on 4. Okay.
Yeah,
anyway, we've been to in answer to your question, Teresa. Or Theresa, I'm not sure how we say that. Do you pronounce the H?
Teresa.
I know some people that pronounce the H. So anyway.
Not going to Orlando for Spirit Fest, so sorry.
No, but we've been to several.
Yes.
Port Charlotte.
We will go to the Lakeland one.
I've been to Sarasota, Lakeland. Port Charlotte, and Lakeland.
Yeah.
And the great thing about Spirit Fest is that they have them all the time and they have them all over. Yes. And what each one of them does is brings
in y'all in Florida.
Yeah. So what each one of them does is brings in vendors from that area. So you'll see different vendors. Some of the same vendors will travel around, but I think primarily it's local vendors that come to Port Charlotte or Sarasota.
So within 150 to 200 mile radius of where it's being held, because they have it down in Miami even, and they go farther up.
So I love Spirit Fest.
It's fun.
It's fun, and that you can find some unique things. And if you walk the floor first and check prices, you can get some really good deals.
Don't buy anything the moment you see it.
Yes.
Walk the floor and
check pricing out because it's drastically different from one vendor to the next. And we got some great stuff the last one we went to, which was Lakeland, right?
Lakeland was our last one. Yeah. I guess that was last year, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. It's been so long. All right.
Okay. Well, let's get started for cleansing and
it's already 7:05.
Cleansing and blessings for 2023.
Yes. So I'll probably say this a couple times throughout the video, but why are we saying cleansings and blessings for 2023? And I want you to know that as we go through what a cleansing is, how to do it, why you should do it, things like that, and then even blessings, we're going to, at the end, reiterate this same point. It is a 7 year. That means the universal year of 7. It is a spiritual year. There is no better time to cleanse your aura, cleanse some, some crown or third eye chakra, crown chakra, their heart chakra, even if you want to, but all the things that help us align with the universe, with our higher self, with planet Earth and our lifetime here. This is done through cleansings and blessings. And so we're going to go through that. But
this is a huge, 7 year is a huge opportunity for spiritual growth.
Yes.
If you do the practices and you do the work,
yeah,
you can be in a much different place. Yeah. The actions.
By the end of the year.
By next year at this time, you can really be in a different, far along on your path of your spiritual journey.
I just made a connection for you guys really quick, and I haven't mentioned this yet before, but this year is a 7 year. So what will next year be? It will be an 8 year. And 8 is the number for finances or prosperity, or it's the infinity symbol for abundance. So if that's something that you've been really wanting to manifest, maybe since probably 2 years ago, because we were at a 5 year, 2 years ago, and that's where we want to expand and get into stuff. And like, maybe you couldn't or didn't because money was lacking or opportunities were lacking. The 7 year is you're really coming together with your purpose or like your higher purpose. It just, think of it in those terms, like you're really creating your why. Like, I love Simon Sinek, worked with him before, but you're really creating your why this year. And it's because it comes from within. It's your spiritual side of like, why am I here? What do I want to affect? What are the changes? It's the bigger thing. It's not your 9 to 5. It's not raising your kids. It's not who you marry. It's not your car, or your house, or anything like that. It's like, why are you here on this earth? And what are you here to experience that grows your soul? That's the 7 year. And what's amazing about that is the next year, you can put all that into action to make monies, because it's the 8 year. That's when things will really become prosperous. So if you're hoping for a prosperous year in the 7 year, I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying you can't at all. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is it's more, there's a word I'm thinking, but I lack that skill.
Conducive.
Conducive? No.
No?
Auspicious. I think I was thinking auspicious.
Oh, okay.
It's more auspicious next year to be in the flow of like money stuff. Don't stop doing what you're doing if you're already like set on your path this year, but this year is for spiritual growth and next year is more about the money stuff. I just wanted to lay that out there. That was maybe a lot.
Well, I want to prepare this year for a money year.
Yes, because you need to overcome your money things. Like, what kind of lack do you have? I never knew I had lack until I started really digging in. And that was probably 5 or 6 years ago, where I really started digging into my self-worth and like, did I believe I was worth billions of dollars? Like, just put that out there to the universe. It doesn't need to be in your mind real, but if it's not in your mind real, it can't be real in your life. We're going to get into that. Okay, we should start. But that's a little preview of this year and next year. Just a little bit.
Tiny bit.
Okay. And I'm feeling better vocally this meetup than Kat is, because she also got something and is, which we're doing our appropriate measure to kill our sickness with alcohol, right? Sterilizes, it cleanses. Yes. Okay. So for cleansings and blessings in 2023, we're looking at the fact that these are what I call realignment tools. When you do a cleansing or
realignment practices.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I changed that word and she remembered.
Practices.
These are realignment practices. So when you think watermelon. You got to say watermelon. If you're ever going to sneeze, it absolutely stops it.
Supposed to stop it. I don't know.
Okay,
all of a sudden my nose is like itching like crazy. I'm so sorry, you guys.
No, you can't help that you're kind of sick, like just a little bit. And it wasn't from me, y'all. She had a sick friend here over the weekend, so it's not my fault. So cleansings and blessings are something that we call a realignment practice. And we say that because you realign back to neutral, okay? And by practice, you can say it's a ritual. You'll hear ritual cleansings. You'll hear blessing rituals and all of that. Those are just words. You don't have, it could be habit. It could be ritual. It could just be the thing. I'm doing a cleansing. You don't have to say that it's a ritual. It doesn't have to be that big. So don't feel weighted down by like the fact that you need to make this super sacred and, I don't know, putting so much into it that it actually stops you from practicing it. Because that most of the new witches that I've taught, they have reservations about doing these things because it does feel so heavy. It's like, oh my God, this is a sacred, ancient practice that I need to be like fully committed for 5 hours. No, you don't. You can do this in a couple minutes all the time, and you can get in that habit of bringing your vibration up to a certain point and then doing it. So we'll get into that too. So when we say that the cleansing and the blessings are realignment practices, where are we realigning from? Well, as you know, I'm sure you know, that our world, our physical world, creates a lot of fear. It creates a lot of worry, anxiety, all the things we deal with, depression, ADHD, all the things that we have to physically deal with in our physical bodies. Our spiritual side is sort of smothered by that. So when we do a cleansing, and your household stuff too, I guess we're going to mention physical things as well, but let's talk about energetic stuff first. When you feel smothered by those things, a cleansing is a way to say, I fully release this. Like, I don't need it. It's not helpful. I don't want this in my life. And I just release it and I send it back to where it came from, or I send it to the earth for cleansing, whatever it is. Like, you send the energy back out. So as we get into the cleansing part of it, we're going to go over cleansings first. Just know that when you do a cleansing, what the purposes of this is to bring something back to balance. Now, I've mentioned in other videos that nature in our whole entire world, besides humans, because we're active energy, the rest of the world is all passive energy. And we become imbalanced. We become heightened with emotions or lower than emotions. And we're trying to bring everything back to neutral. So when you're doing a cleansing, you are trying to get rid of stagnant energy, negative energy, judgmental energy, all the things. We have a list here to go over, but you want to bring it back to just neutral, and then you'll do your blessing. So that's how tonight is kind of going to go. Do you want to talk at all?
No,
She usually talks a lot.
I know.
So.
I'm letting you go, though.
Okay.
I'm going to interject when the time is right. But
Okay.
And I'm also, my nose is itching.
Watermelon. Everybody like manifest watermelon at her so she doesn't sneeze. Okay, so the other thing that people might call cleansings that you'll see is purifying. And I just want you to know that it's not a wrong word. It's just a word that I don't associate with. Like, I don't connect with it. So I never use the word let's purify your space. Like, I don't know why. I just don't like it.
And if you do, that's okay.
Yeah,
and
totally fine.
For me, purifying reminds me of, it has a religious connotation because there's a lot of that in religion. And so
to say purifying?
Yeah, because I feel like, there's
maybe that's where I get it.
That's to me anyway. But if purifying is
whatever the thought is, like if you want to say cleansing or purifying your space, all of those are fine. But I wanted you to know that they're connected, that those two words are interchangeable in the witchcraft community. But I just say cleansing because it's the word I'm comfortable with, and like it helps me create the image better. So when we're cleansing, what we're actually doing is we are pushing out. Like, imagine yourself pushing out, like there's dust all over your house, pushing away. Sending it on its way. Like, that's another thing I always say. Send it on its way. You don't need it. Like, F it. Bye. Don't need you. Leave here. But we're sending it on its way. The unwanted negative energy, negative thoughts, negative feelings, or the unwanted thoughts and feelings too, because it doesn't always necessarily have to be negative. It can also be obsessive. It can be compulsive, habitual language. Oh, man.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, you gotta take over.
Okay.
Oh, no.
So as Jamie was saying, it doesn't necessarily have to be energy, exclusively energy, which energy is something that we feel. Whereas when we're cleansing our material things, it's more of a physical. So the energy that we feel, or the thoughts that we have, or the noise in our head that rattles around and tells us that we're not good enough, that we're too fat, that we're this, that we're that, that we're unworthy.
Too short, thin hair.
I don't like my nails. I don't like my nails,
Think of all the complaints you might have.
Yeah, all the things that we think about. Those are all energetic thoughts. And
they're negative thoughts.
Yes.
They're judgmental thoughts on yourself. So
the other thing that you might be pushing out and off of yourself when you're doing a cleansing is The energy of other people. If you ever, I'm sure you guys have probably heard, and if you're not, you're going to hear it here first. Energy vampires. Have you ever met somebody who like sucks the life out of you?
I accidentally married one.
Well, we were just talking about your really good friend that you had for such a long time.
My
And
ex-friend.
it just became so toxic over 10 years.
You have to let it go. You have to let it go.
That it became an energy suck. So it could be other people's energy that gets stuck on you, people coming into your home, things that you pick up, like
items you bring home.
Things that you bring home. I do a lot of Goodwill shopping or thrift store shopping. Yeah. Things that you bring home might have energy. So I might have mentioned this a minute ago, but the difference between cleansing, between clean and cleanse, yes, is that clean is for your material things, your physical things in your world.
That's clutter, dust, all that.
Mm-hmm. And cleanse is for the unseen or perceived things, meaning that you feel. You may not see it. And we have smoke going.
I know. I didn't mean to
smoke?
quite light it. I was just testing it because we're going to do some examples of stuff. But
okay,
right.
So I'm going to let you take this one.
Yes.
Get your voice back. So what causes a need for cleansing?
Okay. When we compare ourselves to others, this is like, I think this starts really early, and I don't know why. I'm not really sure about the human experience and like why we start comparing ourselves. Is it the grading system in our schools? Is it, you earn stars for good behavior, and so you automatically start comparing yourselves against other people. But when we do that, those are judgments passed on ourselves, and we start to feel less than, or in another case where like I was the super smart kid. I was known for that, like, I always just had the answer. I think because I mostly paid attention a lot, not because I was super smart. I was just like very in tune with learning. I love learning. But guess what? That gave me like a thing where I thought I'm smarter than everybody. So when I wasn't smarter than other people,
the self-worth,
like the confidence, my self-worth, I was like, oh shit, I'm nothing. So that didn't help either. Like, if you're familiar with, if you have children and you want to prevent this or learn how to handle it, Carol Dweck, D-W-E-C-K, Carol Dweck is a great author for this, where it's the different kinds of praise that we give people. You don't praise their smartness because that's not really a thing we're born with, but their effort is praisable. Like you put in a lot of effort. You stuck through it. You had the determination. Mm-hmm. Yeah, perseverance.
Tenacity, that's me.
We have cut so many rivers through rocks. I gotta tell you, that's like in our family blood. We're just perseverance all the way. So in just knowing that about ourselves, it's comparing ourselves against others, doubting ourselves, judging others. So if you do this, and I can't listen, I've tried, I'm going to be 42 in a couple of weeks, you guys, and I've tried to stop judging others. And unfortunately, I'm not quite there yet because even now I have judgy thoughts about people driving slow.
It takes constant.
It's vigilance. It's vigilance over your thoughts.
It's vigilance.
And now when
you have those thoughts, it's pushing them out and correcting, doing it all.
I say something nice. Yeah. So like as soon as I say like something that's just not nice, like, oh, this person in front of me must be old or something because they're driving like 35 and a 55.
Or what a fop.
What a what? What a what?
My friend was here this weekend and she said, yeah, I call them fop. I'm going to say fucking old people. Did you guys hear that?
See?
Effing old people. So like,
and that's
really not very nice.
It's not nice. It's not nice. And when we allow ourselves to get into those routines, like that just creates these little, okay, so James Van Praagh, if you guys are familiar with him, he's a medium that I work with. He talks about the fact that when we carry energy with us, and he's seen it on people because he worked in Hollywood and stuff, it comes off as like these weird spikes from our auric field. Our auric. I don't think that's a word.
Aura. It is auric. It is A-U-R-I-C.
Auric field. I feel like I'm not saying it right. But our auras literally carry these massive spikes off of us that are like meanness. And he talks about it. You can find it on the internet. You can find it in his books. But he talks about these spikes that come off of us when people are really mean to other people. Like and then they carry it with them. So changing yourself after that is very hard. So when we do a cleansing, guess what we're trying to cleanse? Get that shit off of us. We don't want any of that. Maybe it was programmed before. You don't have to worry about guilt or fault or anything. But once you know, then you can change it.
So here's some other situations where you might want to do a cleansing after you have these types of experiences in your life. Of course, we've already talked about judging others, thinking mean things, saying mean things, returning from travel or other people's houses, hospitals, court, after a police interaction, changing jobs, or when you are getting into a new relationship or even a friendship or moving into a new house.
Or getting out of them also.
Yeah, getting out of them, getting into them. Like all of these things might be a time where you would exercise or perform, what do we call this? Practice.
You would
practice
cleansing.
a cleansing. Yeah, you would do some kind of a cleansing. Yes. And we're going to show you several different types. Yes. Super easy. So easy. Doesn't take a lot.
Doesn't take a lot.
It's nothing. So, I told Jamie, if in doubt, cleanse, but then, we also want to clarify that. Yes. So you will have something to say about that.
All right. So I have worked with people. All right. So I've definitely had, and they're not even necessarily witches, but they're people who have worked with me for advice or fixing life situations. And they get really hung up on the fact they're like, every time somebody enters their home, they have to do a ritual for cleansing. I was like, well, it's a little obsessive. That behavior in itself exudes a lot of fear around the unknown. And when we move with fear, it's the opposite of cleansing. So, I always say there's never a bad time to cleanse. There's never a wrong time. There's not ever overdoing it, especially if you do it the first time, you're like, oh, my head really wasn't in it. I want to redo this. Great. Do it again. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as when you're doing it, you're coming from a place of love and like, I'm trying to really energetically connect my entire atmosphere, my home, the ground that I live on, whatever it is. And you're really feeling that love instead of going, oh shit, what's her name was in my house? Oh my God, cleanse it, wipe down the door, stick an iron bar underneath the doorway. There's that. There's a different level of where you come from, and that's either fear or love. And you have to know that for yourself. We're not going to be able to tell you unless we work with you personally and go to your home and like watch you or something like that. You have to know, are you moving from a place of love where you're like, I want to rebalance this space. It feels out of balance to me, because it is a feeling. It's not physical. It's a feeling. Although if you have a lot of clutter around your front door, that's also physical leading to a feeling. So,
well, you can also have things happen in your house that indicate
traumatic events
that indicate that you might need to cleanse that you might need to cleanse your space. One day I set a vase down in a corner, and when I walked away, the vase exploded. And Jamie had actually given it to me. She'd given me 3 of them. And nothing happened. I was like, what the? And when I told her this, she's like, oh, that's energy that you need to clear. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that made sense. And then, of course, I had the picture jump off the wall.
Yeah.
So, but we took that as a sign from the universe. They were trying to slow us. The universe was trying to slow us down.
And that's all it was. It was a feeling, right, you guys? So like the vase exploding for my mom was a warning. She felt that. She just was like, that was her intuition coming forward. Yeah. Whereas the picture jumping off the wall, we were like, whoa, what's happening? There was not a fear thing or like I need to worry about this thing. It was more like, maybe we should slow down. And that was just our instant thoughts with it. So it is going to take some of your practice of your intuition and knowing, like, as things come up, how does that feel for you? What does it feel like immediately? Just not getting too much into fear, because fear is the wrong place to be. We're going over types of cleansings.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what about cause for cleansings? Oh, we did that.
That's what we just talked about.
Okay, you guys ready for some
types of cleansings? And we're going to do some examples here. Show and tell.
Okay. Show and tell. Okay, so this is one of my favorite parts, is to do lots of show and tell. But types of cleansings, I'll list them first and then we'll go over them. But smoke, okay. Being in the witchcraft world, we've all heard of like smudging or saging or whatever. But doing it with smoke, doing it with stones, water, salt, which is probably the oldest and most common, sound, and even our breath. Okay, so if you've never seen anybody cleanse anything, this is going to be our focal point. This has another story later, but all you're doing is you're lighting your sage. You can say things ahead of time. You can, whatever you want to do with this, just let your emotions flow. But you want to be coming from a place of love to bring things back to balance. If you feel like there's negativity around something, or if you got it from somewhere where you're like, maybe this was taken from a person's house that was abused, or, I'm thinking of like Goodwill type stuff. But you're literally you're taking the item, your room, your house. I mean, when we do house cleansings, we walk around the entire house and do stuff. But there's a couple different ways with smoke. So as you're encompassing it with smoke and you're sort of thinking about that, this smoke is absorbing the negative energy or the unbalanced energy, and it's carrying it away. Like, look at it go. Woo-hoo.
Dissipating.
So it's taking the negative energy away. And so you can use visualization with this, but it's just thinking about like, you're making this thing what it naturally is. You're not blessing it yet, but you're making it what its natural state is, and you're taking off any energy that got stuck to it while it was in creation, like while people made this. I know it sounds really terrible, but like as things come from China, I always worry about their workers and like what's happening, and does this come from a place of love or just a place of like money hungry and how bad the China government is or whatever, which I know very little about. So that's a little judgmental. But thinking about whoever made this, whoever bottled it and put the labels on it, did all the things to get it to where it was, where I could buy it. Release all of that. If they were upset that day, if they were angry, if they had stuff going on, like all of that is going. And now it's just back to neutral. It's just the elements. And then I can use it. And what we'll see next is that when you bless it, then you give it a purpose when you bless it, where you tell it its sort of intentions, where you hope that it does its best at something. So that's smoke cleansings. You can do that for a room.
And we, even though we use an example on a very small item, this bottle of nail polish.
Yes.
You can imagine doing that for an entire space. So you would just go through the space.
Items.
And I see that Reba has asked us if the windows need to be open. I don't open my windows. I don't think that that's it. If you feel like that the windows open and releasing the space means something to you, by all means, incorporate that as part of your cleansing ritual. Or are we calling these rituals? Okay.
It can be.
Practice.
Listen, it's a practice. You can call it a ritual if you want to. Okay. It's totally fine. A ritual is when you've done the same thing over and over and over again. Okay. That's a habit. A ritual and a habit are the same. So if you
not
do
necessary, but if you prefer to do that, by all means, then absolutely.
Yeah, the window open thing is pretty new. And I get it. It's symbolic, so think about these things not as a must, but as a symbolic way of doing something. When we celebrate in bulk, which was just February, 2nd, a lot of times that holiday is all about opening up your house and like dusting out the stagnant winter air. Well, we live in Florida. We don't really have stagnant winter air. We have hot ass air and we have air conditioning inside. Not a practice for us. We're like, no, that's not efficient. So where you're at,
open the windows because all the humidity comes in.
Yes, then your floors are sticky and like everything's sweating in your house. So
you're talking about my floors.
She noticed
Never
I threw that in there.
Yeah, she did.
She didn't have her air on earlier today when I got here, and I was like, "Ma'am, it's hot.
It was hot.
Throw your air on." So just make sure that it's for you. There is no right or wrong with this. It's really about what you perceive as right or wrong, what feels good, what feels natural. Go with that. That's not set enough in our witchcraft practices that nobody should tell you how it has to be.
Well, and
it's
we have Teresa that says, I heard that you're supposed to. So anytime I hear a statement like, I heard that you're supposed to, there are no rules. Really in witchcraft, I don't think there are rules. Like you decide what works for you.
Yeah. It's a spiritual practice. So a lot of times what people do is they listen to what internally is being told to them. So if you feel like my windows need to be open for this specific instance, then do it.
Or I need to visualize this energy coming off of me.
No, I do visualize. Yes.
Then do that. We talked about this at the last meeting where we were talking about like visualizing the
clear
washing,
off your negative energy. Yes.
So visualization is absolutely a part of it, but it's not required for it to work.
I love this. Okay, so JB Trails said that they moved into an old house and they were fixing the walls and they found a picture of a child glued inside the walls. Should I cleanse the house? Did you get a bad feeling? Did you get an eerie feeling? Did you get something? Go off what your feeling says. You could honor that child. when we redid our walls, we found a really old Jim Beam bottle and they didn't put a note in. And I was like, damn it, you guys, this was from 1987. Our house was built. And I'm like, no, come on, give us something. It was just an old Jim Beam bottle. And I thought, well, the contractors who built our house were drinking. That's awesome. I hope everything's up to standard. I don't know. But it's the feeling. So for us, we were like, oh, that's so cool. We didn't have a bad feeling about it. So listen to your feelings as you find things. If you remodel a house, if you do anything, as you come across signs or instances, like pay attention to that immediate feeling. Don't let the fear of Hollywood movies, which I love. I was a huge horror movie person when I was younger. I love to be scared because it made me feel alive. But see it for what it is for you.
I hate horror movies. Because I saw The Exorcist.
Serial killers forever.
Because I saw The Exorcist when I was like 12 and it scared me to death. So I never liked horror movies after that.
Yeah. Well, and Natasha's saying like she does a sage cleansing every morning. I love that because the smell of sage really centers me. Okay. So that would be for me, saging myself and walking in my yard barefoot feel the same to me because I'm grounding myself with earth energy. And I need that as a water sign. I don't have fire. I have water, air, and earth in my sign. So like I need the earth to feel grounded for myself.
Reba, we must know what kind of bones. You got to tell us.
In the backyard.
What kind of bones? Human bones?
When I moved into my house, do you know what all my neighbors said? They were like, the previous owner buried like 5 dogs in your backyard. Be careful where you dig. And I thought, oh, I mean, I guess that's normal, but also
when I remodeled my bathroom in my old house, I left a note in the wall in case anybody in case anybody ever like removed it or something. I can't remember where, but I left it there for them.
Okay, Poltergeist was really scary. Actually, I think that was one of the scarier movies I ever saw. The Exorcist didn't scare me that much, but
all right. So after smoke, we have stones.
Okay, stones. Super easy. There are a couple stones, and we'll just tell you 2 because you don't need to be overloaded. Quartz, regular quartz, and selenite are stones that don't ever really need to be cleaned. They're always in balance. They're always in balance. You know why? Because this is the moonstone. It's always there. And quartz is like the most abundant stone in the earth. And it's in all of our products, every TV, cell phone, lights. It's in everything. The silica from quartz is everywhere. So quartz stays balanced, and so does selenite. When we cleanse with, I'm going to cleanse you. Come here. When we cleanse with stones, all we do is as you wipe over somebody or you do whatever motion it is, you're literally thinking about that. You're cleansing, you're wiping off old habits, bad debris, bad memories. And you're filling them with love at the same time. So for me, it's almost like blessing and cleansing at the same time where I'm like wiping away the old, but then I'm also like love, beauty, desires, hope, passion. I'm saying all the words that go with like really lively, beautiful thoughts. Do you feel better? I do. So that's all you have to do with stone cleanses. And you can walk through your whole house and almost like a wand, like you're just clearing the walls off. Like you're one of the fairy godmothers in Cinderella, where everything that you point at just changes miraculously in the energy. And that's why I feel like visualization is such a helpful tool, because that's you sending the energy that you don't want. You're just sending it out there and you're returning everything to neutral so that you can make it what you want it to be. So that's cleansing with stones. Next, we're going to skip to sound because it's another like physical thing. So this is so funny. Are y'all ready to laugh? Okay, seriously. I didn't bring my singing bowl.
And I don't have any singing bowls.
I am shocked. She has a list now that I need to get her as gifts. So we're using a pasta strainer.
A colander, a little mini colander.
It's not a pasta strainer?
It's a colander.
Okay. Do you put anything other than pasta in it? Don't answer that. Damn it. I don't want to be wrong.
Beans, olives.
Beans and all. Okay. Olives, I can't even. All right. So what I told her was.
Black olives when you have to drain them. Anything you have to drain.
You just use it in the can. I don't know. Okay. All we're doing is you're using elements like not plastic. So use wood, use metal. These things are like natural. This is bamboo, I'm pretty sure.
Guys, these are straight out of my kitchen. We went looking for something to make this sound.
That's because witchcraft doesn't have to be hard. You don't have to buy special tools for it.
Thank you.
I have sound bowls, but I didn't bring them, or singing bowls. But you're looking for a certain tone. It's the one that carries. So If you are listening on headphones or anything, adjust your volume really quickly. Okay, turn it down. I do not want this to like pierce your ears and, have some bad reactions, but you'll hear the tone of this last longer than just there's a clink, right? But then you've got, wait, it lasts longer. Wait, there it is. So it depends on how you slap it.
Yeah.
And that lasting sound.
When you hit it down here, it's the solid part of it. So,
is it this?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. It's the bottom.
It's the solid part of it.
Grab pots and pans, whatever you have in your house that's metal and wood. Grab a damn stick from outside. Doesn't matter. But you hear the lasting sound, the sound that reverberates throughout your room is a cleanser. It literally starts shaking things off because it's a vibration. So you can use that as a sound cleansing. If you don't have a singing bowl, because you don't have to buy one, you can use other stuff, metal, pots and pans together, whatever sings. So when you tap it together, it should go ding. It should have that longer ding. Yeah, We'll say it like that. All right, next one. What's our next one?
Salt.
Oh my gosh, you guys, for salt. Okay, I love to use salt, or I did before I had kids and animals. Now I just feel like it's super messy. But when you have salt and you want to put it into corners, along window sills, at your front door, wherever, just know that salt harms some bugs like snails and slugs, but also you have to clean it up later. You're not going to keep piling salts up in corners. So it would be a very thin dusting of salt, but you can keep it in a container instead of putting it on your floor. And it absorbs stuff. So salt absorbs energy and moisture. And this is one way to set it in your space and cleanse it, and you do nothing. You just boom, salt, work for me. Hard worker, that salt. You ever heard of blue collar people from back in the day being called salt of the earth? That's where that comes from, because literally they work without having to be told, it's ingrained in them. Sounds messed up.
Have you ever heard of the salt mines? Yeah, that's where they send the people to slave away and die. Sorry.
Do you know what the average length of life was in a salt mine?
No.
3 months. They died of dehydration.
Because
the salt literally pulled. Yeah, the Russian salt mines. That's from way back in the First World War.
Ugh. Okay, next is water. We don't have an example of water.
I don't.
Because I don't have a little sprayer.
Yeah. So imagine this is water, and all you're doing is, and you can mix this with so many different essential oils. It literally takes a drop or two of essential oils. And if you want to use orange instead of buying bergamot oil, because that's a whole thing, get your orange peels, and when you bend them in half, if you ever put it up to a light, you'll notice all that spray comes out. Orange peels are filled with their oils, and you can squeeze that, not by dunking them in the water, but squeeze the orange peels and let the spray go into the water. Shake that up and then spray it around your house. So I actually listed a few things, because when I do cleansings for certain households, I use intention as well. So if you have rose water, you can do a cleansing spray for love. So you're cleansing and setting an intention in the space. The reason I mentioned oranges is because so many people want wealth and success, and oranges are a huge symbol of wealth and success. So you can make orange water to spray around your house. The last one that I put down was lavender, because that's for harmony and peace. A lot of times the households that I get, that I associate with, there's a disturbance in the household and they're trying to fix it and create harmony. Lavender water is perfect for that. And literally it's just a couple drops of oil into a pretty decent size of water, maybe 4 ounces, shake it up and then spray it. And that's, again, this is where you can use your visualization to picture that as you spray, the color changes in the room, the walls change color, the energy flies out somewhere, because energy isn't stopped by walls. It's not stopped by human skin or bone or blood. Energy permeates through anything. So this goes back to sort of the window question. If you feel better opening doors and windows and doing it, perfect. But you can also just tell it to get out and return to where it came from, because you don't need it anymore.
A question we have is about, are you supposed to get rid of the salt after you use it because it's absorbed stuff? Do you get rid of it?
All right. So number one, if you've put it on your floor, please do not use it. Go ahead and let that go to the trash. You can also try to bury it back in the earth. Just put it somewhere where you don't expect plants or animals to be, because too much salt is toxic. And if you have it in a jar, this doesn't expire. It never stops doing the job of salt. You know, the only reason that we get rid of salt that we put on things is because we can't really use it anymore after it's dirty. Like, it's hard to separate dust particles and wood chips and mud and whatever. So this is the most efficient way to try to use your salt. Could you leave it open if that feels better? Yes, absolutely. Do you need to leave it open all the time? No, because it's a symbolic representation of, not even symbolic. This has a balanced energy that never changes unless you add something to it. So if you add water to this, then it breaks down. If you add oils to it, then it breaks down into something else, and over time would be less useful. But salt in a sealed container never loses its ability to be salt. So just think about it like that. Like, if we have selenite and we put it in a corner of our room, it never stops being selenite unless we get it wet. It deteriorates and it turns back into silica or whatever. But it's the same. So you can think about salt in its form as being the same. And I was going to say it's a symbol, but it's not. It stays in its state. It's a mineral. It's literally, they're the same.
It doesn't change.
Yeah, I mean, it's not quite a rock because we use it, but it's produced by the earth, you know? We only have so much salt on our planet.
So the answer to the question is no, unless you've put the rock.
Unless you get dirt.
Unless you put like the salt in a corner.
Yeah, unless you sprinkle it.
Sprinkle it. Yeah. Then you
can just vacuum it up and let it go.
Then you're going to get rid of it.
I
did a salt circle around my house when I moved in here. A protection circle.
We did that.
We did that.
Yeah.
Walked
very lightly because, plants and
super light. Okay. All right. So now we're going to talk about blessings.
Sorry, my watch told me I was working out, which I'm not. Unless they think that, drinking vodka is a workout, which it's not.
It could be. Well, wait. How many times do you do this?
Yeah, we're building bicep muscles. That looked terrible. I'm never doing that.
So sorry.
Anyway. All right. Blessings. You guys.
We missed breath. You're right. Thank you, Tracy. We did breath. Thank you. Because it is on our list. Okay.
Breath. These are my AirPods. They're just what's sitting here. I could use the nail polish again. It doesn't matter. What you're thinking about is something that you can hold or drop. So sorry about that. Something that you can hold, or even like in your room or wherever. Like, I wouldn't do this for a whole room just because that feels like a lot of breath. And again, it's just meaningful for you. That's all it needs to be. But if you receive a present from somebody and you're like, wow, I have nothing to really cleanse this. Like, on travels, sometimes I take my traveling altar and sometimes I don't. Like, if I go overseas, it just varies. My husband, I don't know. When I go on work trips, I definitely do. That was a lot for no reason. But if I don't have my sage with me to cleanse something, or like a fire or a candle, because some hotels are like, absolutely not. Instead, I get something and I think about what it looks like if it was energetically unclean. So I'm like, oh, there's a gray cloud around it. What do I have the power to do? I have the power to blow off that gray cloud, because that represents negative energy for me. And once I blow it away with like thoughts of, bring this back to balance. You don't have to say that you bring this to a good state. You don't have to make this super meaningful and wonderful and like, this is my diamond or whatever. It's like, bring it back to its natural state, because everything in nature besides humans is all passive energy. We're active energy. We create the negativity, the anxiety, the depression, the ADHD, all the things. So if it's been touched by humans, then you can say like, oh, okay, I want to blow their energy off of that active energy that may have stuck to it while they had it. And then all you do, or all I do, you guys do what you will. I think about the fact that it has like maybe a gray cloud. It could be super dark. It could be not. I'd be like, I just want to make it mine, like just refresh. And so very gently, because it doesn't need to be extreme. It's more energetically speaking. I literally just blow the thing off like, and I see it like smoke leaves my sage bundle, wash away and just float away. Because there are times that I can't use a candle or sage or anything. I guess I could carry crystals with me, but I don't ever think about that. I do it with breath work, with candle or with sage, the way I cleanse things. I don't know why I don't. Do you ever cleanse things with crystals, like ever?
I don't.
No, I don't know why either. I don't either.
Use crystals.
I stick things in the earth to cleanse them, but I don't use crystals for that. So that's just
I like
part
sage
of our
is my
practice.
very favorite.
Well, that's because like the smell.
I love the smell, and I don't mind the smoke. My dog does though. He freaks out when I light fire.
He gets pissed. He's like,
he gets anxious.
They're burning the house down again. My husband always comes home if I've saged the whole house for my rituals, because I try to do it in the day when nobody's there so that I can concentrate. He's always like, did you burn something today? I was like, yeah, sage and maybe Palo Santo, maybe. But, it happens that way. I love sage. I can't get enough. Love it. Okay, too. What's next? Because I know that we're, okay, with blessings. All right. This is probably the shortest topic I will ever discuss, because blessings is so personal and it's so incredibly simple that most people overthink it, and you don't have to. What I want you to do right now is I want you to envision something that you love. Kitten videos, your dog, your mate, your child, a day at the beach, a really good martini, like whatever it is that you love. Imagine that you are experiencing that thing that you love so much. You're literally like chest to chest with your favorite person. Just you're breathing in all of them and you're like, this is my place forever. Or, you're hugging your dog and you're like, this is my person. This is my, I know it's an animal, but this is my person. I belong here. They're meant for me. We're meant for each other. That overwhelming love that you can feel, that is where you bring yourself to when you want to do a blessing. Practice getting yourself there. Like whatever it is that makes you super happy, grateful, in love with life or the thing, bring your vibration up to that level. Just breathe it all in. Slightly personal information about me that I know you guys love to hear. My husband has this little part of his neck, and I swear when I smell it, I'm like, this is it for me. I don't know why. There's ready? I'm going to make my mom really uncomfortable. It's right here behind his ear. I don't know why. There's a smell there for me that I'm like, this is my home. I want to live here. And I tell him, I was like, this is my favorite spot on you, because when I smell his smell from his little neck area, it's like I'm remembering 1 million lifetimes with him, or we've been connected forever. And I don't know if everybody's ever had that, because obviously I was 30 something when I met him. So I didn't have that most of my life. I'm only 42 now. But now that I have it, I'm like, there's nothing better. It's the same with being with cats or baby kittens or baby puppies or whatever. There's just this sense of love. Name something that's really puts you in that thing.
Snuggling with my dog and sleeping with my dog and he's cuddled up to me. Oh, so much love.
The whole thing. Yes. Yeah.
I just love him so much. I just want to snuggle up to him and tell him I do it, and I do it too. I'm like, I love you so much. You mom, I love you. Thanks.
Yes. See, she goes all baby talk and everything.
I do baby talk.
So when you bring yourself to that level of loving something, and it can even be things about yourself. It can be whatever it is for you guys, whatever it is for you. As long as you can rise that up in yourself, that vibration, when you go to do a blessing, that's what you're bringing up. Okay. So earlier, before we started this meetup, I was going through examples with Kat, and I told her, I was like, bless this. And this is a slight reenactment.
This is a reenactment. So she said, bless this just however you would do that. So I was like,
she wasn't smiling.
So I wasn't smiling. So I'm like, okay. So I put this. So blessings are like prayers. If you ever have prayed before in your whole entire life.
Prayers, spells, blessings.
Yeah. So this is what I did, because it's a small object. And I thought some thoughts in my mind about this thing and what I wanted, but it was nothing specific. And then I handed it back to her.
And she said, I love that. Okay. She said, I told it thank you for being you and help me do the things I want to do. And it was very she's going, what the fuck are you having me do, Jamie? This is nail polish. What are you doing? And so I said to her, I was like, okay. And I'm just waving it. And then she starts saying out loud, she's like, it's epiphany.
And then I had an epiphany. I was like, oh my God, wait. It's fucking green. So that means heart chakra. It could mean wealth. So all of a sudden I took the bottle back and I was like, now
She totally got focused.
now I
see.
Now I see it. Now I had a thing for it. Now I had a purpose for it. So then that changed, because before I was just doing an exercise where it's like, yeah, bless this thing to do something. And I didn't specify what it was. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
She just wasn't into it. She's like,
yeah, but then when I
polish.
realized it was green nail polish, and I know what the color green means, that it's the heart chakra.
Her correspondence training came up.
My correspondence came up, and I was like, yeah, so that happened. So then I wanted it back, and then I was like, okay, yeah.
She was like, give it.
Yeah, so that totally changed it for me.
And I already had these, but then I painted her nails the same color. I was like, manifest.
Manifest. Yeah, because I'm trying to get like $250,000 from the Florida lottery.
Florida lottery.
Money come to me from the Florida lottery.
I love that little saying.
Yeah.
So as you want to bless something, it's just about what you want from the object, what you want it to do for you. And you can use your correspondences, which are amazing, right? So if you wanted to bless your selenite, and selenite for me, selenite has many purposes, but selenite for me, it means moonbeams. Selene, what it's named after, is the moon goddess. And so knowing that, I'm like, this is my literal connection, my beams from the moon to me. If I wanted to bless this, I would say, bring me the wisdom of the moon and let me feel her strength, power, and balance as she works through her cycles. I work through my own. And that doesn't sound like a blessing. It sounds like a spell or an intention, but that's exactly the purpose. You do not have to say, I bless you, my child, go forth and prosper. Like, that's not a blessing necessarily. It's wishing the best, good, love outcome for something that you can do. And it can be what we would normally call selfish, but it's not. It's honoring ourselves. All right. So in the clothes we wear, in the nail polish we choose, in the jewelry we choose, in the scents that we might put on our body, in the way that we wash ourselves, all of these things are ways to take care of us, which should be considered blessings for us. It's like, I wear this with the hopes that I bring about. I wash myself in a way that releases, negativity and brings in love. When you are bringing in something, you're trying to bring in a blessing. So when you do that for other people, when my son was in the hospital, I received so many messages of love and light. Those were all blessings to me. Those were all messages from people saying, I want the best for you. I want the best outcome. They couldn't specify, like, I hope your son is cured from, what does he have? Epilepsy. I hope your son is cured from epilepsy. No, they didn't say that because they didn't really know. But all they had to do is provide the good vibrations of like healing, love, best outcome. That's all a blessing is for something. Whether you do it with your animal, dog, person, nature, the earth, the universe, whatever it is, those are all blessings that we get to send out. So vibrationally, that's what we're doing. We're collecting our energy of love, and then we're handing it over to something.
Okay. So that was blessings. And now we have some tips. Yeah, just a couple. Focus on loving ourselves and don't worry about doubt.
Okay, so
don't
this is
worry or doubt your worthiness.
Yeah, because this is like how to make these practices really useful. Because as you go to do them, you're like, I don't feel worthy. I feel like shit. I've been through a lot. People have treated me really poorly. I don't have self-worth, even though we don't say those things, like we feel it and we don't know it. So for these last few things, we're going to say them very slow because I love you and I know you can talk slow. And we're going to say them slow so you can write them down or re-listen to them later, okay? And the tips are, we have to focus on loving ourselves first. If you do not love yourself, it's impossible to love somebody else. That is a fact. I stand by that fact. If you don't love yourself, when you get in a relationship with somebody else, you're trying to, that whole like two halves or a whole kind of situation? No. Two wholes should come together, not two halves, because you're missing half of yourself. So you got to love yourself, and you don't doubt your worthiness of something. Stand up in that way that says, I demand better. I want better. And nobody should tell me that I'm not good enough for that. If you have been told that, you just have not met the right one. Somebody, if if you treat yourself of worth, somebody else will recognize that and treat you as worth. Next.
Gratitude. Gratitude helps us to not think negatively. So living in gratitude, thinking in gratitude.
That's right. So instead of saying, oh, this bullshit always happens to me. Oh, it's just my luck. Instead say, this is an opportunity for me to learn something. There's signs here that I can interpret. That's something that's more of gratitude and paying attention rather than the negative side of it of like, why am I always stuck in traffic? Why are these people so slow? Be like, this is an opportunity to slow down. I wonder what I could see if I paid attention. That's a way to shift that for gratitude of the situation.
Also,
versus annoyance.
I'm learning patience in traffic.
It is patience. It is.
I'm learning how to be a more patient and kind person.
Okay, so I did see this wonderful thing, probably on Instagram Reels or YouTube Reels. I don't know, because I definitely do that, you guys. I find inspiration in other people as well, because I'm always growing too. Just so you know, it's not like I'm above everybody. No. I have mentors as well. But I saw this thing that said, be kind. You don't know what other people's battles are. You don't know what they're dealing with.
That's very true.
It's very true. And I'm going to give you guys a really specific instance. Maybe this will help you with traffic. I'm going to revisit a trauma that's very hard for me. 10 years ago, I had a kitten, and I was teaching this kitten to be an indoor-outdoor kitten because that's what I needed. That's what suited my life. I needed them to be able to flow easily, right? 4 months old, this kitten gets bit by a pygmy rattler. It's the most common rattler in Florida. Most humans and dogs can survive it, but a kitten, it's too small to survive a pygmy rattler bite. As I called around to different vets who would take my kitten and try to save it, because there is anti-venom, right? But usually they use it on like humans. I'm like, I'm so invested in this 4-month-old kitten. I'm ready. I watched this guy be born. Like, I'm ready to save him. And his name was Magic. Okay, so he literally was named Magic. I loved him so much. I have to drive 40 minutes from my house to rush him to an emergency vet. On the way there, I'm doing like 95. I'm putting everything at risk to save this kitten who is seizing up, like convulsing, having all these. I'm watching him in my passenger seat as I'm driving. It was horrible to experience. I kept thinking, I'm being the craziest driver I've ever seen in my life. Like, I can't believe I'm driving like this, but I'm trying to save his life. And I'm sure I thought about this. All the people around me were going, this fucking girl's crazy. What's she doing? And they had no idea that I was trying to save the life of a kitten. And so now I think about that as like, I don't know what people are dealing with when they're speeding and jumping through traffic and whatever, or if they're going really slow and they're like, I was just in an accident a week ago. This is a rental car and I'm very scared to be in another accident. Like, if we consider those two options for people in traffic, and we bring up traffic so much in Florida, but
because it's a thing here.
It's a big thing. That is where I went with my story. So now I distribute those. Instead of calling somebody slow or old or whatever, I'm like, they could really be dealing with a past trauma. They could be trying to save the life of somebody. And I leave it at that, because those are my stories that happened to me that people wouldn't have understood unless I like had a sign for them. So if we can create stories to be more kind to people like that, imagine what they're going through without actually judging them. You stop yourself from bringing on the negativity.
Well, it makes me think about Sam, which is Jamie's husband's dad, who's...
We're throwing out names now, huh?
Sorry.
It's okay. Sam is my father-in-law, yes.
Father-in-law.
Father-in-law?
Oh, he is your father-in-law.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm married. That's my husband's dad.
Sorry.
Oh my, I love it. I love that.
Okay, anyway, Sam's not well. He's got some health issues, and he just went somewhere, and then they drove somewhere, right? He drove, and then he had trouble with the car. I was just thinking about him driving somewhere and not being well, and how he's probably driving slower because he's not really feeling
cautious. Right, he's not feeling well. Yes,
not feeling good. So I was just thinking about Sam, and it's like, Sam needs to go to the store. He needs things at the store. Everybody needs groceries and stuff like that. And he doesn't want to lose his independence. That's the thing about, when you get older, it's like Who the hell wants to give up their independence? So they're going
Nobody.
to get in their car, people who are a little bit older and maybe shouldn't be driving. We younger people say you shouldn't be driving because you're so slow. Well, shit. Do you want to give up your independence when you're 82 years old? No, you're not going to want to do that. So you're going to go to the store, but you're going to drive slower and you're going to annoy a lot of people. And I just think we have to.
It's our part to have compassion.
So I think that's why we have to be like with older people, especially to just be a little more kind, show a little more compassion for where they are in their lives, because we're going to be there one day if we're lucky. Well, otherwise we'll be dead.
My mom used to call me out a lot on the meetups because we've been doing this like almost 3 years now. She'd say, my daughter's road rage was so bad. Like always call me out.
It was though.
Thank you. Got it. It was not great because I had a lot of anxiety and it came out as road rage. Not like it was me yelling in my car. That's it. Road rage. Like I didn't do physically anything with my car.
The road rage was her yelling at
I was yelling because my anxiety was so terrible. But one of the things that helped calm me down is, after really getting to know my husband's parents 4 years ago, I always considered the slow drivers in front of me his mom, which is crazy. But I was like, what if that was Tony's mom? I would never say something awful about her and be like, get the fuck out of the way. I would never say that. So by putting that in front of me instead of, it's a slow person who shouldn't be driving. Where's their kids? Where's their grandkids? Somebody needs to help them, which is true. Somebody probably should be helping them, but they're not. They're doing it on their own. To have compassion for that situation rather than being like angry that I'm not getting where I need to go faster. Like, am I really in that big of a time crunch where I got to be an awful negative person? Things to think about. This is my growth over the last 5 to 6 years. And I've been a witch for like 25 years, you guys. So I still have growth, just so you know. I didn't know, like I found witchcraft and then boom, I was all, high and mighty and perfect. No. Life still provides opportunities for us to grow and become better each time.
All the time.
We stop growing when
we're
dead.
Let's see. Blessing. So let's see.
A good change. Ooh.
A good change. Okay.
Ooh, okay, you guys, I wrote this and I thought it was genius. You guys let me know if you think it's genius. Instead of negative worries like I won't have money to pay my bills, what if this happens, what if I get in a car accident, what about positive worries? What if I go to this new school and everybody likes me? What if I'm popular? Like whatever that positive worry could be.
The opposite of.
It's the opposite of the negative. What if you changed your negative worries into positive statements? This is all about changing the energy and the things. Remember, what you think about, you bring about. So if you change it to positive worries, it could happen. Quick story about when I was in LA and I was kind of terrified because there were so much homeless people and it felt really it felt unsafe to me sometimes. I was like always watching my back. And, I have social anxiety just a little bit. I was really worried about all these things bad happening to me. And I kept telling myself, I was like, oh my gosh, you need to change this. So then I created this crazy story in my head. I was like, what if people were driving by throwing money at me? I don't know why that's what occurred to me, but I was like, it's the craziest thing that also made me laugh or giggle. About an hour later,
it changed your energy though.
It changed my energy of thinking like, oh my gosh, what if that car drives by and throws money at us instead of shooting at us or whatever I thought. But then I found money on the sidewalk. Like not long after that, I thought, well, I'll be darned. I think I did it. So I changed the thinking of what I was going to expect into something better than the negative outcome. Just a quick tip for that.
So that's a really good point to say, to keep your mind on the things that you do want and instead of the things that you don't want.
Yes.
So it's always
change that. Yes. Change that thinking.
And also when we practice judgment, we expect judgment on us. I thought that was really profound.
Yes.
I thought I was like, wow. If you're judgy, then you probably are like looking at people going, they're judging me.
Yes. Yeah. And so that is a vicious cycle of lacking self-worth. If you judge others, then you assume that every time you step out into public, you're being judged. And that just is like, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I didn't do enough. I'm not at the standard, whatever it is, because you don't realize that your judgment on other people is actually a judgment on yourself. It's comparison still. So don't judge others so that you don't judge yourself, so that you maintain this healthy level of, I am who I am and I accept it and I love it. I don't need to be like anybody else and I don't need to be compared to anybody else. I'm me. I'm my path.
And I would say that is something that's always evolving in us, because it's hard to break out of that habit of judging ourselves, of judging other people. It's almost ingrained in our society to do that. So
it's the stars in school. Do you get a gold star today?
So give yourself some grace and just keep the positive thoughts going versus the negative thoughts. So lastly, mantras. A mantra, and we're only going to give you one, because these are very well. Number one, we don't want to spoon feed you.
We want you to come up with your own.
This is the work you need to do. This is your journey.
Build it yourself.
And you need to find your inspiration, but we'll give you one mantra. So here it is. I release any negativity I have in my life. I allow myself to have peace. That's just one.
Super simple.
Very simple. Find your own. Do the work. Put the work in on this so that you can experience the growth, because ultimately it comes down to you. So, and I think that wraps it up.
Well, there was only one other thing that we missed.
Did I miss something?
No, only that. Why are we doing this? What are the outcomes, right? Like,
why are we
doing cleansings and blessings? Like, why do this? What are we really seeking? And when you're doing it and you're wanting to know, am I doing it right? Is the universe listening? Do I have this? Like, am I in line vibrationally with where I want to be? And I'll tell you that the answer is yes when you have more coincidences in your life, when shit just lines up and you're like, oh, wow, whoa, what happened? That just lined up. Like, I thought that and then it instantly happened. Or a week down the line. It doesn't have to be fast, but when you change your vibration, you start attracting new things to you. And this is from when we cleanse out the old negative shit, we're able to bring in the blessing of, here's what I want to be. Here's what I want to become. Here's where I want to be in my life, feeling wise, vibrationally. Then those things start coming to you. And that's when you know you're doing it right. Because all of a sudden, you click with somebody and you're like, oh my God, I found my best friend that I feel like I've known forever. Or you run into people and there's all these little coincidences, which I use that word loosely because I always think that like that's signs from the universe for me, but coincidence is the common term for them. So the other thing that happens, and you may not have had one yet, or you may have, because I really believe that everybody here has pretty much known they're a witch for a long time. And they're like, I need some validation. I need to hear some things from a practicing witch to know that I am one. Because I'm not sure, right? That self-doubt, that's okay. That's okay. Here is how you know. You're doing something, you're in an event, you're in your home, you're at a place, and all of a sudden you get a download. I call it downloads from the universe, where you just know. You're like, oh my God, realization, light bulbs, like so many light bulbs of things, and you're like, oh shit. I need to learn about that. I need to look into that. These are downloads from the universe to help you shift into a higher consciousness, a higher spiritual level than what you're at right now. And as you do these practices of cleansing and blessing and like gratitude, that's where you'll get you'll be like stepping up all the time. And then all of a sudden, you know what'll happen, you guys? I hope you're ready for it. People will start looking to you for answers, because you're going to be that higher spiritual being that they've been waiting for to help them grow. And you start to become a pillar in your friend group, in your family, wherever, where people are like, hey, I need you to help me. Please tell me. And that's what happens is people start to see that in you. You're not even broadcasting it. And yet people are perceiving the message that is your truth that you're owning, and you're becoming your higher self. So that's when you know you're really working it. If that can be how it's said, I guess.
So I just want to say, Teresa, that I love what you said, that when you, that I think everyone around me, this is Teresa saying, I think everyone around me is a good driver when I'm driving, instead of what the fuck is wrong with these people. Can you just even imagine like that? So that's perception is also energy. Yeah.
It's energy.
But if you think like that, imagine just your whole demeanor changes. Now, everything about what you're doing changes. Yes. When you think that way. I just think that's a great example. I think that's an excellent example of changing a perspective, if you will. and ultimately changing the energy that you're emanating and that's coming to you, that's you're giving off and that's coming to you. Because when you think like that, then people around you are actually going to drive better because you're not expecting them to be a-holes. And there might be the occasional, but then you're just like, oh, I hope you get to where you're going safely. So, all right.
For Reba, I'm really sorry. My kitten did not survive. They actually did not treat him. They did not. It was really gut-wrenching. And up until several years ago, I still cried about him, my little magic guy. And it was really hard. It's one of my last few losses. Like, I've lost pets, but that was my last, and it was 10 years ago now. So no, sadly, and even worse, I'm not sure if I did the right thing or wrong thing, and you guys take it as it is, but that little pygmy rattler who I don't kill stuff, but he came up to my porch and curled up and like went to sleep. So when I came out of my door and I saw him, because I still had 4 other cats there, I had a couple kittens and 2 grown cats, I grabbed him and I beheaded him. And I cried and pleaded with the universe the entire time. I was so pissed and everything, and it felt unfair. And I was like, you can't take another one. Because I felt like if I didn't take his life, that he would kill another kitten or all of them. And I buried him, and I bawled so hard. My now husband was so confused at my, like, you killed him, but you also cried really hard. Like, you're very upset by this. I was like, yeah, because I don't take lives of stuff. But if I didn't get him out of our territory, he was going to continue to come back. And my kittens are so new that they didn't understand what a snake was. And so it's one of my great disappointments or quarrels with myself that I actually purposely killed an animal, which I had never done before. Even when I fish, I throw everything back. When I was little, like I've never killed anything. That was my first thing. And that was the pygmy rattler that took my kitten. So a huge learning opportunity for me, really hard. Still not necessarily okay with it. I feel like I could have done more, but the anxiousness of seeing him at my doorstep, literally when I walk out the door, he was right there. And they're small. And like I said, most adult humans and bigger dogs can survive their bite. They're not that deadly. Like a diamondback is deadly for us because they pack so much venom, but a pygmy rattler doesn't. I knew that if I took them anywhere, they find their territory back because that's where they were born. And so I didn't have any faith that if I rehomed him, that he wouldn't re-find his place there and that I would never feel safe. And I did that to try to feel safe and have my kittens there, which they grew up there for 2 years. And the other 2 are 100% fine. They're still indoor-outdoor cats today. Yeah, that's my story with my kitten and a pygmy rattler. Not great. Both died. Not great. Not my finest hour. But I don't know that I would change it. I mean, I had a lot to lose at that time, and you protect your home, I guess. What was great is that I buried him and the raccoons ate him. So his body didn't go to waste. So I just think about that. I'm like, all right, well, it all got recycled to the earth anyways. I don't know. Right? Maybe? Okay.
Yeah.
It was extremely tough. I don't know. You know, do you kill things that kill your animals, or do you say like, oh, my fault, my bad, like I shouldn't have them out? I don't know. It's the first time I ever got faced with that. And I'm not sure if I took revenge or precaution. But I'm telling you, talk about bawling my eyes out, beheading the snake, horrible experience for me.
I just hate when
all animals die. I love snakes. We have snakes in my yard that I've had for a long time. I have ringneck snakes. So if you've ever seen them, they have a little red and orange ring around their neck. And if you flip them over on their belly, they're red and orange. Really harmless. I have gardener snakes. I have black racers, all of which I watch in awe. Like, I love these snakes. I have bobcats in my yard that I would never hurt, that interact with my cats, that really don't do anything. They're just very curious.
And even though the raccoons are a super pain in the butt, she still wouldn't hurt them.
I would not hurt them. I would never trap them or kill them.
She won't even kill a snail. Even if she has to kill snails, she's like,
anything. I don't like to kill anything. I just don't like to. Yeah. I'm like, everything has a place. And I just need to find the balance of it or whatever.
Yeah.
So you asked the question, for the greater good, Full circle. Yes, Joellen, listen, I still feel like I owe that snake something. And I'm like, buddy, you taught me a lesson. I don't know that I taught him a lesson. That sounds fucked up. But like, you taught me a lesson. And now I know that about myself, that I don't think I would ever do it again. If I was ever faced with this again, if I found a rattler in my yard now, would I do it again? No. I would drive an hour away where this guy could not come back. Like, I literally drive forever so that I did not have to repeat that behavior, because it was really hard.
Yeah.
It was really hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we finished our lesson for tonight. And I know Reba said, show us the doggy, but he is over there like super chill. He actually sleeps like a cat. He's super fun. Let me see if I can get him. Tinkers, come here. He's going to freak out. Come here, Bobby. Come see. Come here.
Tank's coming.
Oh, no. Come here.
Tank, come here, buddy.
Go for a walk.
Come here.
Go for a walk. Come here. Come here.
Come here, buddy.
Come here.
Come on.
He's been on camera once before. Come here.
Come on.
You're okay. Come here, babies. Come here, friend.
It's okay.
Friend, you're okay.
Come on. Oh, well.
Come here. Look at his face, you guys. Oh my God. He's like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I resist. Okay. He's the sweetest boy ever. Look at this face. Oh my gosh. Oh.
Look, you're on our meetup. Look at there. This is Tank.
There's a little tiggy tank.
He looks like a little cow.
He's even got the little butt mark. He's the cutest. He's super sweet. Super sweet dog.
He's just very skittish. He's like, what's that noise? What's that in your hand?
If I bang on anything, he runs. He's like,
oh my gosh,
no.
yeah. He was a rescue, so we don't know what happened
to him.
A little
moo, right? He's a little moo. He looks like a little cow. Come on, puppy. Okay, so you know what's funny, you guys? As soon as we turn this video off, he knows when we've stopped talking, and he starts jumping on us. He's like, it's time for my walk. It's time for my walk. Because we take him for a walk after every meetup. So he knows what time it is.
As soon as the camera's off, he's bouncing around going like, time to go, time to go.
Yeah, he's super sweet. Love him.
All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. We really appreciate you.
It's been wonderful. And if you have any questions, let us know, because we did a very light, we did a skimming. Because again, I don't want to like feed you guys stuff that you feel like you have to do. I want to give you information. Wow, I almost coughed there. Information, and then let you build it on your own. Like, this is a creative path. Witchcraft is crafting it yourself. It's literally just like painting the story of your life the way that you want to. So don't feel boxed in. The moment you feel boxed in, you're using fear. Let that creative stuff go and just like all over the page, all over your house, wherever. Let it all go. And then as you practice, you'll start to feel what feels good and what doesn't. And then you'll create your own little, not even a box, but like a serving tray of what feels really good to you. Because you can always change it when you want to, but don't get boxed in by people who's like, you should, this is the way it's supposed to be. You have to.
Somebody's supposed to. Here's all of those things.
All those things
we don't believe anyway they apply to witchcraft.
Religion is about rules. Witchcraft is about freedom. So use your freedom and your free will to create the practice that is the best fit for you. Nobody else should tell you otherwise. And that's why we invite you to explore. Explore what other people are doing. Explore the channels, podcasts, whatever it is. Find your inspiration so you can build your practice the way that you want to. And if you have questions about how we practice, I'm more than willing to share literally every aspect of my life with you so that you can get a baseline maybe, of what someone does.
Explore, but don't subscribe to rules, because we don't think that that's what witchcraft means.
No, witchcraft is the lack of rules.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It is.
Like we said from last meetup, define what witch means to you. Like, what is that word? What is the essence of witch? Is it being in total control of yourself, only abiding by your own laws and your own goals and your own beliefs? Whatever it is for you, like, do that thing. Because that's where your power comes from. When you have freedom. If you're in a box, do you have freedom? No. When you're in control of your own self, you have the freedom to do whatever you want, and that makes you feel more powerful. That's like
always with love,
it.
kindness, and gratitude. That's all.
That's
really like the only. If there was a rule, if there was a rule, it would be love, kindness, gratitude. Always with that.
Yeah. Well, people can practice the opposite side of that, but what they're going to get back is not the essence of witchcraft. It's going to be the essence of ego and greed and manipulation. It's not going to be great stuff.
The lower vibration.
Yeah, the lower
emotions.
vibrations of stuff. So,
okay,
all right.
you guys, thank you.
Yes. Oh my God, it's 8:20. Thank you so much for being here tonight. We love you guys. We're probably taking a couple weeks off, but we will see you for the Beginner Witch series, which starts March 6th. Mm-hmm. March 6th. We got to get some time to get our, health in order, I guess. But we will see you guys in a couple weeks. Have a fabulous 3 weeks discovering yourself, okay? Text us or message us anytime you have questions or want to know something. Anytime.
We're here.
Still checking it all the time.
We're here.
All the time. See you in March.
Thank you.
Right, bye,
everybody.
guys.